And once again, what is up, my fellow patriots? How y'all doing out there in America, land of the free, home of the brave? Today is 100 days of the Trump second term. It's been an awesome 100 days. Got the Dems on the run. They don't know what to do. Trump's got them bashing EVs, electric vehicles, and supporting terrorist illegal gang members. It's so awesome. They don't talk about anything positive on the news. You don't hear about any of the investments or any of the good stuff that Trump's got coming in because it's 96% negative coverage. They won't do it. They won't do it. The legacy media is dying. The Democrat Party is dying. And it's time to drill the nail into the coffin, the final nail, the Democrat Party. They need to revamp and become Americans that love America and Americans and not illegal criminals once again. That's what they need to do, but they won't. They won't. Anything Trump does, they will deny. So anyway, I don't know if you know Caroline Leavitt, awesome press secretary. She does this MAGA Minute thing. I just did this real quick. So I don't have all of them, and they're probably not in order or anything, but I just wanted to kind of play a few of these to show you what you're not hearing. You don't never see on CNN or MSNBC or ABC, CBS, any of the damn ones. Probably most of the stuff you don't even see on Fox. But anyway, yeah, let's go ahead and check it out. And just a couple of quick things. And yeah, here, let's try.
Things have never been busier here at the White House. President Trump delivered on many more of his promises to you, the American people. Let's roll through this historic week in today's MAGA Minute. This week, President Trump became the first sitting president to ever attend a Super Bowl, declared February 9th Gulf of America Day, signed an executive order rolling back Biden's push to phase out plastic straws, secured the release of Pennsylvania teacher and great American Mark Fogel from Russian captivity, bringing the total number of hostages released to 11 since he took office just 4 weeks ago. He implemented a 25% global tariff on steel and aluminum imports to protect our steel and aluminum industries from unfair foreign competition. He introduced the Fair and Reciprocal Tariff Plan to counter unfair trade practices by our foreign trading partners. He established the Make America Healthy Again Commission to fight chronic disease, ended COVID vaccine mandates in schools, and established the National Energy Dominance Council. We are going to drill, baby, drill. See you for next week's MAGA Minute.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know why that's so dark there. I'm hoping the next one will be a little bit better. Let's go ahead and take a look here. For some reason, this one went full screen. Awesome. All right, let's take a look at this one here.
The People's House, let's roll through everything President Trump did for you, the American people. The Department of Homeland Security repurposed the CBP One app into the CBP Home app for illegal immigrants to self-deport. The number of illegal immigrant gotaways has plummeted to a daily average of just 77. Egg prices dropped this week, and the Department of Agriculture unveiled a strategy to curb egg prices even further. Inflation fell in February to its lowest point in just under 4 years. Some MAHA moms, myself included, got together at the White House to discuss the first MAHA Commission meeting and how we are going to make our food and our country healthy again. The Department of Education initiated a 50% reduction of force as we continue to make our government more efficient. And several more companies like Merck, GE Aerospace, and Asahi Beer announced massive investments in the United States of America. We are building back our country. We'll see you next week for the MAGA Minute.
Yeah, again, I'm not sure.
It was another historic.
I'm not sure why these are so dark. I apologize. But you see, they're not going to talk about the investments that are coming into America at all. There's new companies every day coming to America. Trade deals are happening. I think there's been $1.7 trillion so far promise of investments. So, yeah, you're never going to hear about that in the mainstream media, are you? Anyway, let's move on to the next MAGA Minute here. And let's see.
It's a beautiful day here at the White House, and it's been another great week. Let's go through all of the historic actions that President Trump took this week to help you, the American people. Companies like Hyundai, Rolls-Royce, and Schneider Electric announced billions of dollars in new investments into the United States to create jobs for hardworking Americans. The president signed a proclamation levying 25% tariffs on foreign automobile imports, encouraging companies to build vehicles right here in the United States of America. The White House recognized the bravery and service of Medal of Honor recipients in the White House on Medal of Honor Day. The president welcomed some of the country's strongest and most intelligent women to the White House to celebrate Women's History Month. And the president signed an executive order to make D.C. safe and beautiful once again. And the Trump administration executed a very successful operation to apprehend a top MS-13 ringleader just 30 minutes outside of our nation's capital. Every day, because of this president, America is safer. We'll see you for next week's MAGA Minute.
Again, stuff you're never going to hear on the mainstream media. They don't, they're not going to tell you about any of the good things that are happening because they're scum. And yeah, but there's tons and tons and tons of good things happening. And that's for sure. That's for sure. That's for sure. Let's check the next one.
Welcome to the MAGA Minute. It's been a huge week here at the White House, and let's go over the wins President Trump delivered on behalf of you, the American people. On immigration, illegal migrant encounters between the ports of entry are down nearly 87%. On the economy, President Trump laid out a plan to establish a sovereign wealth fund to better invest the more than $5 trillion in assets held by the United States. He also proposed tariffs on imports from Canada and Mexico and China, and those tariffs were swiftly paused after our allies agreed to step up and address these issues. We are streamlining USAID into the State Department. President Trump signed a historic executive order to ban men in women's sport. Lastly, President Trump is already making our military strong again. Army recruitment in the month of December, with the anticipation of President Trump's return to the Oval Office, hit a 15-year high. We'll see you for next week's MAGA Minute.
So yeah, again, this is stuff that you're never going to hear on the news. It's just because they hate us. They hate Trump, no matter what Trump does. Trump cures cancer and rescues babies and puppies from burning building all at the same time. Democrats complain he's putting hospitals out of business, and the pet sellers are gonna not be able to sell pets anymore if they don't burn up in fires. So he's putting them out of business too. Donald Trump is a horrible orange man bad. All right. That's what you always hear. That's how crazy this is, man. This is a heck of a timeline to be alive in. Let's check the next one.
Hey, everybody. As you can hear, we are warming up for the White House Easter egg roll, which will take place on Monday. But we did a lot this week, so let's go through it in the MAGA Minute. This week, a number of companies announced massive investments, with NVIDIA, Abbott Labs, and Honda among the list of companies investing billions of dollars in jobs right here in the United States. President Trump hosted President Bukele of El Salvador, Prime Minister Meloni of Italy, the 2024 NCAA football champions Ohio State University, and the U.S. Navy football team this week as well. And the border is still more secure than it has ever been, with Border Patrol recording its lowest southwest border crossings in history. The president took actions to lower prescription drug prices, prevent illegal aliens from obtaining your Social Security benefits, and removed burdensome regulations that were stifling the U.S. commercial fishing industry. Angel mom Patty Morin joined me from the podium to tell the story of her daughter's brutal murder at the hands of an illegal alien, while simultaneously calling out her senator who flew to El Salvador to retrieve an MS-13 gang member, wife beater, and illegal alien. President Trump remains committed to putting the American people first, you and your family first, and we will never waver in that commitment. We'll see you for next week's MAGA Minute, and we are wishing everybody a blessed and happy Easter Sunday.
Yeah, so again,
It was another...
I'm sorry these are not in the order of relevance, but happy Easter, all right? But again, it's just good things that are going on that the mainstream media will never tell you about. Let's check the next one.
Things have never been busier here at the White House. President Trump delivered on many more of his promises to you, the American people. Let's roll through this historic week in today's MAGA Minute. This week, President Trump became the first sitting president to ever attend a Super Bowl, declared February 9th Gulf of America Day, signed an executive order rolling back Biden's push to phase out plastic straws, secured the release of Pennsylvania teacher and great American Mark Fogel from Russian captivity, bringing the total number of hostages released to 11 since he took office just 4 weeks ago. He implemented a 25%.
11. Did you hear that? 11. Trump got 11 American citizens that have been held hostage in foreign countries released, that the Democrats didn't give a shit about and left them to rot, while the Democrats are down in El Salvador trying to get criminal gang terrorist wife beaters back into the country. There's a little bit of a contrast of a difference there, huh? Just a bit?
Global tariff on steel and aluminum imports to protect our steel and aluminum industries from unfair foreign competition. He introduced the Fair and Reciprocal Tariff Plan to counter unfair trade practices by our foreign trading partners. He established the Make America Healthy Again Commission to fight chronic disease, ended COVID vaccine mandates in schools, and established the National Energy Dominance Council. We are going to drill, baby, drill. See you for next week's MAGA Minute.
Drill, baby, drill. See? Trump does everything for good for America and Americans, and the Democrats only go for, illegal, criminal, terrorists, aliens. I think we see that one already. Here's another one.
Take it all down in the MAGA Minute. President Trump showed the world what American strength looks like when he stood up for the American people to President Zelensky during their meeting in the Oval Office. Massive corporations announced new investments and jobs in the United States. Following President Trump's 10% tariff on China, Apple announced it will spend more than $500 billion and hire 20,000 American workers over the next 4 years. Pharmaceutical company Eli Lilly announced an investment of $27 billion to build 4 new manufacturing plants in the United States. On the border, the administration has officially deported more than 50,000 illegal immigrants from our country, a 627% increase in monthly arrests under Joe Biden. Wow. Mexico also extradited 29 vicious and violent cartel criminals to the United States to face their long-awaited justice. And the president signed an executive order to make the prices of medical services more transparent, unlocking huge healthcare savings opportunities for you, the American people. And lastly, we took a historic step towards restoring your trust in the mainstream media by saying the White House Correspondents Association is no longer going to decide who gets to go into the Oval Office and fly on Air Force One. New media is traveling with the president, covering this president. It was a great week, and we'll see you next time for the MAGA Minute.
Now, that right there has got to be one of the...
Do you think Trump's new White House...
that right there has got to be one of the best moves ever. The White House correspondents, idiots, they're the ones that forever have been telling what news outlets can come in, who can sit where, and all that. Trump said, nope. Sorry, I'm going to invite people like, I don't know, Tim Pool, Alex Jones, anybody else that might want to come in that has an audience. Yeah, they can come in too. The mainstream media is mad because they're losing their grip. They no longer have control over the White House press room. All of their power is being stripped away on a daily basis. Anyway, here's one more, and that'll be the end of the video here. I just wanted to jump on and throw something together for the 100 days.
Welcome to the MAGA Minute. It's been a huge week here at the White House, and let's go over the wins President Trump delivered on behalf of you, the American people. On immigration, illegal migrant encounters between the ports of entry are down nearly 87%. On the economy, President Trump laid out a plan to establish a sovereign wealth fund to better invest the more than $5 trillion in assets held by the United States. He also proposed tariffs on imports from Canada and Mexico and China, and those tariffs were swiftly paused after our allies agreed to step up and address these issues. We are streamlining USAID into the State Department. President Trump signed a historic executive order to ban men in women's sport.
Yeah.
Lastly, President Trump is already making
Yeah, no
our
more men
military
in women's
strong again.
sports.
Army recruitment in the month of December, with the anticipation of President Trump's return to the Oval Office, hit a 15-year high. We'll see you for next week's MAGA Minute.
15-year high. How's that? Huh?
Do you think Trump's new White House press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, will be a nice change from what we've had recently?
Yes, she is.
President Trump has.
Absolutely. So anyway, there you have it, folks. It's been 100 days since Trump's been in office. Again, the mainstream media press, 96% negative coverage, and 90% of that's absolute flat out lies. Right? Just making stuff up and all this stuff. They're coming after your Medicaid. They're coming after your Social Security. They're coming. No. They're just cutting out the fraud. So there'll be more of it left for those of us who paid into it and deserve it. And he's not cutting off anybody from any programs like that. Doge is doing a heck of a job. There wasn't a whole lot of that in here. Like I said, I just threw this together real quick, grabbed a couple of these MAGA minutes. I don't know if you're familiar with those, but they're every week from Caroline Leavitt, and they're awesome. They're just awesome. I don't know. Y'all tell me what you think. We better off now in the last 100 days or the last 4 years? Because to me, there's no comparison. So let me all know what you think down in the comments. And until next time, peace.